Hari Om, everybody. Welcome back. It's 10 o'clock. Let's get started. Om. Om. Anantvā Ganapatigum Havamahe Kavim Kavināmupamasravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspadana Shrunvannūtibhissedasadanam प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामविद्यवत् ॐ गणेशाय नमः ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये वागीशाद्या सुमनसः सर्वार्थानामुपक्रमे यं नत्वा कृतकृत्या स्युः तं नमामि गजाननं वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय कोटिसूर्यसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्य केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं यस्य सन्निधि मात्रेण सर्वे शिष्याश्च सेवकाः कर्मक्षेत्रे प्रवर्तन्ते चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् चिन्मयं तं नमाम्यहम् Hari Om, everybody. Welcome back. Let's get started with our Mangala Charana Shloka. सर्व वेदांत सिद्धांत गोचरम तम गोचरम Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. Bhagavan Shankaracharya Ji is answering the 7 profound questions asked by the student in verse number 49. Let us chant that. Ko nama bandha katamesha agataha katam pratisthasya katam vimokshaha ko savanatma paramah ka atma tayor vivekah katametadutchatam. Bhagavan Shankaracharya Ji is outlining the Panchakosha Viveka as a part of his answer to the 7th question asked by the student. Tayor Vivekaha Katam. How to differentiate between this Atma and Anatma. Atma, Anatma, Vivechanam. So in Viveka Choodamani, Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya Ji has laid out an elaborate persecution of the 5 layers of matter envelopment that seems to cover Atma from verses 154 to 211. Those who are following the textbook along, as I had mentioned in my previous classes, this methodology of Panchakosha Viveka or Panchakosha Vidya is outlined beautifully in the 2nd chapter of the Taittiriya Upanishad. So in this methodology for negation, he suggested a process of separation called Vivichya and then dissolving it called Pravilapya. He gave us the example in verse number 153, similar to separating a blade of munja grass from the stalk. So we started out our Panchakosha Viveka inquiry with the outermost precinct of our personality called Annamaya Kosha. It's a product of food. Just to recap a couple of points, Anna, Annamaya Kosha, modification of food. It lives on food. Annena Jivati, Tad Vihinaha Vinashyati. It dies without it. It is made up of Tvak, Charma, Mamsa, Rudira, Asti. Purisha Rashi. It is made up of this inner skin, outer skin, flesh, blood, bones, and all that filth somehow stitched together. So he asked the question, Nayam Swayam Bhavitu Arhati Nitya Shuddha. How can this Nitya Shuddha Atma be compared to this filth? Bhagavan Shankaracharya Ji asked us. Then in verse 155, we saw the momentary nature of the food sheath or our gross body. So just to recap that. So the food sheath is the outermost precinct we are talking about. Then we have also covered the vital air sheath. And from a subtle gross body and causal body standpoint, food sheath is a part of the gross body and pranamaya kosha is a part of the subtle body. Now, the momentary nature of the food sheet. Purvam janeradi mrute api nayamasti. Was it there before it was born? Having come into the existence, it continues for some time. Jatakshanaha. And it comes under the grip of death and ceases to exist. And when it exists, Kshana guno aniyata swabhavaha. It keeps on changing. And it is always undependable. Kshana gunaha. It can be perceived by my senses. It can also be perceived by other senses. He said, Gatavat paridrushyamanaha. It is perceived like a pot. Gata. Drushyatva. Swatma. Katam bhavati bhava vikara veta. How can this ever-changing entity be the changeless Atma? Very clear distinction. Then, in number 163, he said, the body identification, Chaya Sharire Pratibimba Gatre. Let me see if I have the slides. Yeah, I have the slides. Chaya Sharire Pratibimba Gatre. We do not have any association with our shadow. Chaya Sharira. Or the same way, we do not associate ourselves with Pratibimba. Our reflection in the mirror, our image in the mirror. Yat swapna dehe hrudikalpitange. Swapna deha. We don't cry over the death of the swapna deha, dream body. As soon as we wake up, the dream body dies. Or our imaginary body. Yatatma buddhistava nastikachi jivacharire cha tathaiva mastu. We need to give up our identification, he says, with our live body identification, the gross body identification, which is the root cause of all our miseries. Then we saw a few pointers as to how to negate the Annamaya Kosha with respect to Atma. If you missed it, any of these classes, please go through those videos in the Chinmaya Ramanam channel of the last two classes. Then last week, we saw the second sheet, which is the Pranamaya Kosha, or the vital air sheet. Just to recap, we saw that the pranas are the 5 modifications of the prana. Vayu Vikara, it controls all our physiological function. Prana, Apana, Udana, Samana, Vyana. These are Pancha Pranas. Prana controls the respiratory function, inhalation and exhalation. Apana controls all of our evacuation, rejection of the waste of the body. Udana, all our reactionary or reverse process like vomiting, burping, etc. Samana, assimilation of all our digested food for nourishment of this gross body. Vyana, our circulatory function. And they work quietly from birth to death, even when we are asleep. We saw that. So with that, we will chant one or a few couple of shlokas that we revised last week. So the pranamaya kosha, or the vital air sheath, is the second concentric circle of the outermost circle, part of the subtle body. How did he describe this in the Viveka Choodamani? Karmendriyai panchabiranchitoyam prano bhavet pranamayastu koshaha येनात्मवानन्नमयोऽनुपूर्णः प्रवर्तते सौ सकलक्रियासु. The five pranas, along with the five organs of action, karmendriyas, together they are called pranamaya kosha. When we identified with the pranamaya kosha, we say, I am hungry, I am thirsty, chut pipasa. These are the two functions of the pranas. What happens with this? The physical sheath. Pravartate sau sakala kriyasu. The body seems to perform various activities. And the vital air sheath keeps the body alive, vital, giving this energy. And then we saw why this pranamaya kosha is not the Atma in verse number 166. Naivatmapi pranamayo vayu vikaraha ganta ganta vayuvadantar bahireshaha yasmat kinchit kwapi vetishtamanishtam swam vanyam va kinchana nityam paratantraha. The self or Atma is not pranamaya kosha because it is vayu vikaraha. Just like the gross body, the physical body, is a modification of the food. It is the modification of vital air. So this vital air sheath has no independent existence. It does not know whether it is its own or it is others or of others. It is ganta aganta. It comes in, it goes out. Agama apayi. It has no independent existence, he says. It is nitya paratantraha. It can be controlled. Pranayama and all those techniques, we talked about it in Upadesha Sara. Atma is swatantra. It is independent. It does not know sukha or dukkha. So that leads us to the subtler sheath than pranamaya kosha. What is subtler? When we say subtler in Vedanta, we talk about innermost, inner, or more pervasive as it gets inner. So called the mental sheath, the third one, still a part of the subtle body, the third concentric circle of matter envelopment, called manomaya kosha. Before we enter the portals of Viveka Choodamani, first I want to give a little bit of introduction. Those who are new to these classes, mental sheath or manomaya kosha. It consists of what? It consists of mind along with the 5 organs of perception, Gnanendriya. Mind is the seat of our thoughts. When the thoughts are in a state of flux or volition, sankalpa vikalpatmakaha manaha. Indecisive thought. And mind is also a seat of emotion. Emotion like anger, jealousy, compassion, love, all these are emotional expressions. Mind perceived objects of the world through these senses, through these organs of perception. And if the mind does not back these senses, they cannot receive any external stimuli. Let me give you an example. I have shared this example a few times before. Like we are sitting in a traffic light. The red signal has come, we are sitting, waiting. And you are looking, eyes are wide open. And sometime around, the light has turned green. But your mind has gone somewhere else. Until you hear the honk from the driver behind you, the other organ gets activated. Through hearing, you become alert and you wake up and see. Like that, until mind is backing that organ, there is no stimulus. So organs of action responds to the world through the mind. I hope you're getting it. Identified with the mental sheath, what do I say? I say I am happy or I am unhappy, sad. To take it further, some scientists say mind is matter, gray matter, etc. Matter. And some scientists say it is not matter. But for a Vedantin, it does not matter. I hope you caught the pun there. So when the mind is in a state of decision, it is called as intellect. Nischayatmika buddhi. To give you an example, let's say you are there in the Eastern time zone, whether to attend this Vedanta class or not to attend. Should I go for my walk at this time? Should I do this and that? State of indecision, mind. Then you decide, I attended a few classes. I've been attending consistently, or at least I'm making an attempt to attend. It's not that bad. I'm going to log in. Nischaya. Druda Nischaya. You log in. That is buddhi. I hope you got the understanding. So it is only separated for our understanding. There is no physical separation. Mind becomes intellect and vice versa, depending on where the state of the thought flow is. If it is in a flux, it is in the mind. If it is decisive state, it is the intellect. So the ignorance of the self later manifests as I am the doer, kartrutva, I am finite, I am limited, all these notions, such as I am tall, I am hungry, all those come down the road later, identification. So, in short, so far from the sheath standpoint, Pranamaya Kosha is endowed with the power to act because it is coupled with Karmendriyas. So it is called Kriya Shaktiman. Manomaya Kosha is endowed with the power to desire. Hence it is called as Icha Shaktiman. Vijnanamaya Kosha, which we'll explore down the road in the next class probably, is endowed with the power of knowledge. Jnana Shaktiman. I hope you are getting the distinction. So, now in Viveka Choodamani, what Bhagavan Adi Shankaracharya ji has done from verses 161 through 183, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji outlines Manomaya Kosha. Let's see a few selected verses from there for our understanding. We will start with verse number 167. Jnanendriyani cha manascha manomaya syat. Jnanendriyani cha manascha manomaya syat. Kosho mamahamiti vastu vikalpa hetuhu. Kosho mamahamiti vastu vikalpa hetuhu. Sangyadi Veda Kalana Kalito Baliyan. Sangyadi Veda Kalana Kalito Baliyan. Tatpurvakoshamabhipurya Vijrumbate Yaha. Tatpurvakoshamabhipurya Vijrumbate Yaha. One more time together. Jnanendriyani cha manascha manomaya syat. Kosho mamahamiti vastu vikalpa hetuhu. Sangyadi veda kalana kalito baliyan. Tatpurvakoshamabhipurya Vijrumbate yaha. Jnanendriyani cha manascha manomayasya. Jnanendriya, the mental sheath or manomaya kosha is made up of organs of perception. Jnanendriyas along with the mind. Mana, and mind along with these gnanendriyas, like the faculties of hearing, faculty of touch, faculty of seeing, faculty of taste with the tongue, and smell, ghana, nose. Through these, we gain the knowledge of the world. The notion of I and mine, mama hamiti vastu vikalpa hetuhu, it comes out of the sheath. This origin of that creates two distinctions: me, mine. The notion of aham, mama. It considers itself as I and the objects of the world as mine. So the little I is born. Sangyadibeda Kalana Kalito. It creates these differences of names and forms. That is why when we teach little children the alphabet, especially, what do? We say A is for apple, B is for ball or boy, C is for cat. We give them objects to identify with. Child associates with these names and objects. The entire process of differentiation and this classification is a function of the mental sheath. So the entire universe of understanding depends on the sheath. Because our entire universe is names and forms. Nama Rupa. Therefore, this sheath is very, very powerful. Baliyan. The phenomenal powers of the mind are very evident in our dream state. Swapnavastha. It is unique to this subtle body. It projects a world of its own in that swapna, in that dream. Although those are born out of unfulfilled desires or suppressed desires in the waking state, we can see the power of the mind in this dream state. Tat purva kosham abhipurya vijrumbateyaha. It permeates the other two sheets, the pranamaya and the annamaya kosha. See, one more thing to remember, at these preceding levels, annamaya, pranamaya, there is no knowledge. It is from this level onwards, the knowledge begins. I hope you're catching it on. Now let's go to verse number 169 in the textbook. Panchendriyai panchabhireva hotrubhihi. A beautiful metaphor here by Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji. I know you will appreciate this. Panchendriyai panchabhireva hotrubhihi prachiyamano vishayajyadarayah. I'm sorry. Vishayajya dharaya prachiyamano vishayajya dharaya. One more time. Panchendriyai panchabhireva hotrubhihi prachiyamano vishayajya dharaya jajvalyamano बहुवासनेन्धनैः जाज्वल्यमानो बहुवासनेन्धनैः मनोमयाग्निर्दहति प्रपञ्चम् मनोमयाग्निर्दहति प्रपञ्चम्. Together one more time. Panchendriyai panchabhireva hotrubhihi prachiyamano vishayajyadaraya jajvalyamano bahuvasanendhanaihi manomayagnir prapancham. In this verse, Bhagavan Shankaracharya Ji brings in a beautiful metaphor. He compares this mental sheath to that of a homa kunda, a fire sacrifice. So to perform a homa, we need priests who perform the sacrifice. Then the fuel. First, the initial fuel, they take it up, create a fire, they light it up, and oblations are poured onto the fire. Panchendriyai panchabhireva hotrubihi. Here, the five sense organs, he compares them to these five priests who perform this sacrifice of what? Numerous desires in the mind that are the fuel, which gets ignited by these sense organs. Prachiyamano Vishayajyadaraya. Remember Upadesha Sara. Ajyadaraya Srotasa Samam Sarala Chintanam. Remember that? When that flow of that ghee, that highly inflammable sense objects are poured into this Homa Kunda, this burning fuel of desire, very poetic. Jajwalyamano bahuvasanendhanaihi. The fire of this mental sheath is kept ablaze, kept aflame. By what? By our vasanas. Like this ghee that is being poured, these sense organs, like priests, they keep feeding this flame. The desires are such that they're like that tissue box, you know. If you fulfill one, the other one is right behind. It keeps popping up, right? And what does this do? This brings about this phenomenal universe. Mano maya agnir dahate prapancham. When this fire is extinguished, then the universe will end. Meaning my world will end. Because the desire is based out of my ignorance. Remember, avidya, kama, leading to karma. Avidya, kama, karma. This mind alone causes the attachment to the body. These attachment in turn, what do? They create raga, dvesha. Then other byproducts, emotional byproducts, kick in, kama, krodha, mada, matsarya, all that. Then slowly and slowly, like that worm get caught in that whirlpool, we get dragged into this deeper and deeper into the ocean of samsara. Now, you got a clear picture of Manomaya Kosha. Now with that, let us see how we can negate this powerful entity called Manomaya Kosha. We have to move to verse number 183. Manomayo napi bhavet paratma adyantavat pat parinami bhavat. Manomayo napi bhavet paratma yadyantavat pat parinami bhavat. Dukkhatmakatvad vishayatva heto. Dukkhatmakatvat vishayatva heto. Drashta hi drishyatmataya na drashtah. Together, one more time. Manomayo napi bhavet paratma Yadyantavatpat parimnami bhavat dukkhatmakatvat vishayatva hetoh drashta hi drishyatmataya na drashtah. Manomayo napi bhavet paratma. The mental sheath cannot be Atma, he says, because it has a Adi and an Anta. Adyantavatva. You know, as we wake up from deep sleep, the reason we say deep sleep is even if there is a single thought in the mind, if it is not completely folded down, we won't fall asleep. So when we wake up from that deep sleep, the mind begins to function. The counter is open for business with the external world. Therefore, we know in deep sleep or sushupti avastha, mind is absent. It comes to an end. So it has an adi, it has an anta, it has a beginning, it has an end. Atma is anadi, no beginning. It is ananta. And the mind is present only in the waking and the dream state. And Atma is avastatraya sakshi. It is the witness in all three states of our existence. Hence, Manomaya Kosha is not Atma. I hope you are with me. Mind is transient. It comes in, it goes, whereas Atma is Nitya, eternal. Taking our inquiry further, second point, Manomaya Kosha is subject to modifications. Parinami Bhavat. Mind is never the same. It is constantly changing. Atma is nirvikari. It is changeless, not subject to modifications. And we know Manomaya Kosha is a product of our emotions, desires, doubt, sandeha, faith, fear, bhaya, fortitude. All these are modifications of our mind. It can be very joyous in one instance, very sorrowful in another moment, peaceful at one time, very, very agitated at another time. And even the faculties, the Gnanendriyas, they also keep changing. As we age, especially, or I should say, as our body ages, the faculties do not work very efficiently. We know, we say, I used to have a memory, I could memorize a book. Now I can't even memorize one line of the shloka. We say my eyes slowly becomes very blur, or I can't hear good anymore, or especially all the joints. It exactly tells you which joint you have not used in a while. So mind is dukkhatmakatvat. It is characterized by pain and suffering. So the Manomaya Kosha is the nature of sorrow. Atma is the nature of Satchit Ananda Swarupa, Sukha Swarupa, eternal bliss. How can this nature of the mind, which ekes out momentary joy, momentary pleasure from this world, be compared to that eternal self? Now, on further inquiry, we know even this momentary joy that we eke out from this world can often turn out to be a future sorrow. Even when the mind is joyous, it is always fearful of change. A clear example is our stock market today. There is exuberance. One day, filled with joy as it is going up, everyone is fearful. What happens? Sudden correction, it could drop. Dukkham. Manomaya kosha is an object of our knowledge. The self or the Atma is the subject. So the subject can never become the object. Drashta hi drushyat mataya na drashtaha. I hope you got that, all that analysis. So now we get some idea as to how to negate the manomaya kosha. Because this is a very powerful instrument. In fact, a very famous declaration is made in an Upanishad called Amruta Bindu Upanishad. It says, Mana eva manushyanam karanam bandha mokshayoho. The mind alone becomes the cause for both bondage and liberation. And one might ask, how is this possible? This is usually explained with a padlock and a key. And mind is like that key. If you turn your mind outward towards the world, it causes attachments to the objects and binds you or locks you. If you turn it the other way, inward, it liberates you. So, in fact, in verse number 169, Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says, apart from this mind, there is no ignorance. Mind is avidya, he says. That is the cause of rebirth. In fact, in Upadesha Sara from Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, some of you who were with me on that book, Ahamina Shabar, Ahamahantaya, Urati Hrutsvayam, Paramapurna Sat. So when this mind is destroyed, meaning objective mind, Manonasha, everything is destroyed. For liberation, we need this Tattva Gnana. We need this Atma Gnana. For this self-knowledge, we say Manonasha or Vasana Kshaya, purgation of vasanas. And deep sleep is a great example that is used in Vedanta. Every night we experience that in deep sleep, where there is no mind. You're neither a woman nor a man, no identification, no mother, no father, nobody. There is no world, no identifications in deep sleep. When there is no mind, no attachment, we experience that. but it is Koshananda. When the intellect does not have a good grip over the mind, there is pressure from the vasana. That is why in sadhana, in Vedanta, there is emphasis on the purification of the mind. Chitta Shuddhi. Then Chitta Ekagrata, focus of the mind, concentration of the mind. Then Chitta Vishalata, broadening of the mind, giving it bigger and bigger picture, broader perspective. Then Chitta Vritti Nirodha, leading to Chitta Nishedha. Only that mind we can negate. Total negation of the mind. Intellectually, not physical destruction here we are talking about. I hope you got some good ideas today. We will stop here and then we will explore our Panchakosha Viveka, continue the thoughts next week. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma Amrutam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam, Purnaat Purnamudachyate, Purnasya Purnamadaya, Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. May all be happy. May all be healthy. May all see auspiciousness. May none suffer. Om peace, peace, peace. With that, I will open it up for our interactive session. Please stay back. Please stay back. We will continue our conversation.